Welcome back, everyone, to Freaky Tales Podcast, and I'm your host, Tony A. the Wizard. So, I have my new tag up there. Before it read Tony A. the Wizard. Now it just reads Tony A. You can still call me the Wizard. It doesn't matter. But my tag right there is at Freaky Tales Podcast. If you guys want to follow us there, Freaky Tales Podcast. If you don't follow us in the community, you can follow us on Instagram for our latest updates and whatnot. But thank you for everybody tuned in tonight. I want to thank everybody for the live chat, everybody who liked, comment, subscribed. Thank you for the new subscribers. Thank you to our members, and thank you for everyone that decided not to be on the live chat. And thank you to everybody who's going to listen to it tomorrow, because maybe tonight they have plans. So I appreciate you, and I thank you. Other than that, like I said, the last couple of episodes have been really, really great. As a matter of fact, let me give a quick recap of what we've been talking about, and I think you would find it very interesting if you haven't already seen them. Episode 66, we talked about 666. How ironic that is, episode 66. So we talked about the number 666. Before that, we talked about hell. What was hell going to be, or what is hell like? Okay, I don't know what it looks like, but we dug into some information on what is hell like. Okay, then we talked about Taylor Shabusiness. So definitely check those out, and then Shadow People. That was episode 83. So we 83, 84, 85, 86, and this is episode 87. So once again, I want to thank everybody for tuning in. Other than that, my topic for today, you guys have seen it in the caption. And Alex, I want you to go ahead and put it on the poll. And I want you to put, can animals be possessed? That's what I chose because I received a pretty lengthy DM on somebody asking me a very, very important question. And I don't know if anybody's ever covered it or touched on this topic. Usually when we talk about demonic possession, demonic infestation, we usually talk about haunted houses. We talk about haunted objects. We talk about possessed people. Even when we talk about infirmities, we many times we look at that as a possible demonic being keeping that person bound. But we never talked about, can a spiritual entity, a demonic being, or however you want to refer to it, or if you don't know and believe in demons, I do believe that demons exist. Can they possess animals? Is there any proof? Where can we look it up? It's funny because in movies we see it all the time. Possessed animals, okay? For an example, somebody brought up to me and said, Cujo's a possessed dog. Well, I think Cujo got bit. And I think it was more of a sick dog that started attacking people. So people say, what about Pet Cemetery? There was a cat and there was a dog. And possibly, I know they were brought back to life, but they were different. But the first time that I ever saw something like this, I believe I was like 8 years old, 1976. The movie called The Omen. And Alex, if you can go ahead and put that one picture up, let me know when it's up, please. And that was a very, very freaky dog, creepy dog. It was a Rottweiler that they used in the movie. And once again, that was the original Omen, the 1976 movie. And as he's putting it up on the screen, what's that? Okay, no problem. In the movie, there's a scene, for those of you guys that recall, where there's a babysitter holding Damien, the child Antichrist. And the mother takes the child from the babysitter. The babysitter's a little distraught, wondering why I wanted to hold Damien, type of deal. Takes the baby, she turns around, and she sees this Rottweiler just staring at her. Okay? And it's a pretty intense scene, especially for a kid. At the time when I saw it, I was only 8 years old. So this Rottweiler is staring at this woman eye to eye. And before you know it, the woman climbs on top of the house, puts a noose around her neck, and hangs herself. And I always wondered, why did she do that? And now I go back and I look that this dog was supposed to be a protector of Damien, supposedly a demon-possessed dog or a devil dog or a hellhound, as they call it in the movie. And it was to protect Damien. Some people believe that this devil dog looked at this woman, if you will, what is that word I'm looking for? Not encouraged or motivated her, but looked at her some type of way where she felt, okay, this dog is telling me to do this. Now, you look at the real life story of Son of Sam, the guy from Yonkers, New York. He claimed that he was hearing, a dog speak to him and was telling him to go take some people out, if you know what I mean. And he did, and he stuck to it. Now, some people say now that he takes that account back and he says that he never heard it, but back then, that's what he was saying, that a dog was actually motivating him or somehow moving him to do these things. And I go back to that movie, The Omen. Is that what that dog did? Now, earlier, Alex, you were reading what a hellhound was. Do you have that info available there? So let's just give him a second.
Okay, it says right here that hellhounds are mythological dogs that are often depicted as guardians of the underworld, hell, or the devil. They are often enormous, strong, and have fantastical features such as red eyes, flames, or being abnormally overgrown. Hellhounds can also be servants of hell.
Okay. And in this movie, the movie The Omen, this dog, this Rottweiler, was considered to be a hellhound. And I don't even recall what kind of dog the Son of Sam had. So now the question arises, can animals be possessed? And so I had a long DM from a certain individual that DM'd me on Freaky Tales podcast. And I'm going to read to you. And then he wanted me to kind of give a reaction. So here's what he has sent me. He pretty much said in so many words before I get to his text, he had said, you know what, Tony, I'm a big fan of your podcast. And I told him, thank you. He said, I know you have a lot of knowledge. He said, but this is something that I wanted to bring up. He said, because at one point I thought my dog was demonically possessed. I invited over a priest and he came over and he sprinkled holy water, prayed over it. He goes, and the dog was fine. He said, it's funny because my dog was a kind dog. It was a nice dog. And then after a while, it bit my wife, and then it bit my son, and he was not that kind of dog. And then the way he would growl at me, the way he would come at me, he goes, it was just like a 180. He said, it was just like a night and day. He said, so me being a Catholic boy, I just figured, let me call the priest, sprinkled holy water on it. He prayed over it, and everything was done. But he said, I just wanted your thoughts on it. So I said, okay. So he said, what he sent me, I'm not sure where he got this from, or did he write this on his own. The concept of animals being possessed by demons is a belief found in some religious and cultural traditions. However, from a scientific and rational perspective, there is no empirical evidence to support the idea of animals being possessed by supernatural entities. Manifestations of unusual behavior in animals are typically attributed to natural causes such as illnesses, injury, environmental factors, or instinctual behavior. It's important to approach such beliefs with cultural sensitivity and respect for diverse perspectives. If you have specific concerns about animal behavior, it's best to consult with a veterinarian or an animal behavior specialist or a scientific assessment. So now he told me, what do you think about that? He says, can I get your reaction? Well, I guess he didn't know that I was going to do a full show on this and eventually have you guys call in and say yes or no. Can animals be possessed? Now, Alex, I know you have dogs. You grew up with dogs.
Yeah.
Have you ever heard of such thing? We've heard growing up, people being possessed. We heard of haunted houses. We heard of haunted objects. But have you ever heard of animals being possessed?
You know, I've heard of animals being possessed.
Or you have?
Yeah, probably the first time was when I heard the story in the Bible about the how Jesus sent how he sent the demons into pigs and had them jump off a cliff or something, right?
Right.
Something. Some. I vaguely remember that story, but that's probably like one of the first times I heard something like that.
Isn't it funny that whenever we want to know a lot more about demons and hell and end times, we always refer to the Bible?
Yeah, that's...
But it's funny because people always like to say that the Bible's a lie. I always like to tell those people, if the Bible's a lie, why are you mad? You know, if God does not exist, why do you waste so much time fighting against him? And I'm not trying to preach, and I'm not trying to push no beliefs on anyone, because I never consider myself to be a religious person. But it always seems that's what we refer back to for some odd reason. So now let's look at the book of Genesis, Alex. And what's in the garden with Eve? Adam, and then yes. Who speaks to Eve?
A serpent.
A serpent. So if that story is true, was not that serpent possessed? That's an animal.
Yeah.
Okay. That's just one instance. Okay. And then we have what we have in the book of Mark, and you had jumped right into it before I can get a chance, Alex. So I'm going to go ahead and read it. And please, when I refer to this, I don't ever refer to the Bible as a religious book. You need to really get that out of your head. And when you guys get a chance, look into it, okay? So now, this is a story about a demon-possessed man. But what you will find in here is going to be very, very intriguing. That's why we put that question on the poll. So after you hear this story, then possibly you can go vote, okay? And this can be found in Mark chapter 5. Mark chapter 5. We have Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John. It is the second book in the New Testament for those of you that want to research it and do your own homework. Now, I'm not going to interpret anything. I'm just going to read it, okay? But I think you'll find this one very intriguing. Then they came to the other side of the sea, to the country of the Gadarenes. Now, who was they? Jesus and his disciples. The Gadarenes are people from the tribe of Gad, one of the tribes of Israel. Okay. And when he had come out of the boat, who's he? Jesus. Immediately there met him out of the tombs a man with an unclean spirit. Now, many times in the scriptures, we have different names for demons, different names for Lucifer. Lucifer could be Lucifer. Lucifer could be Satan. Lucifer could be the dragon. He could be Belial. He could be the Lord of the Flies. Same thing with demons. You look at the unclean spirit. You can look at them as demons. You can look at them as whatever. You know, there's different names for evil spirits in the scriptures. And then it says, once again, let me back up a little bit. Immediately there met him out of the boat, out of the tombs, a man with an unclean spirit who had his dwellings among the tombs. That's where he lived. And no one could bind him, not even with chains, because he had often been bound with shackles and chains, and the chains had been pulled apart by him, and the shackles broken into pieces. Neither could anyone tame him. Now that tells us a lot. You know what that tells us? That this guy had supernatural strength. It wasn't his own strength. To him to rip himself out of shackles and chains, that is supernatural. Look, I go to the gym, okay, and I know strong guys, but I don't think they can bust out of shackles or chains. I don't even think they can get out of handcuffs. Okay, this guy displayed supernatural power, and we're going to see why. Okay, and it said, neither could anyone tame him. And always, night and day, he was in the mountains and in the tombs, listen to this, crying out and cutting himself with stones. Cutting himself. Now, keep in mind, not only did he have supernatural strength, Okay, he was a loner. He was by himself. He had no peace. And he would cut himself. Now, I know some of you, I need you to understand this. Probably have children or family members that are cutting themselves. And that's something very, very serious. And those children or those family members need help. Now, I'm not saying that they're demonically possessed. By far am I saying that. But they can be demonically influenced because there is a difference. This man had no peace, supernatural strength. He was a loner and was always cutting himself. I knew a certain individual that would go hide himself in the closet. He was a loner and he would cut himself constantly. And eventually he told me what he was involved in. So it's important for us to be in our children's lives or in our family members' lives when they start to show these type of things. So when he saw Jesus from afar, he ran and worshiped him, and he cried out with a loud voice and said, "What have I to do with you, Jesus, Son of the Most High God? I implore you, by God, that you do not torment me." Here are these demons that are tormenting these men that are asking Jesus, "Do not torment me." They recognize who he was. For he said to Jesus said to the man, come out of the man, unclean spirit." Then he asked him, "What is your name?" And the demonic possessed man answered, saying, "My name is Legion, for we are many." Now, people may ask, what's a legion? Look it up. But also in the city of Gad, okay, it was heavily influenced at that time by Roman soldiers. And a legion, some people debate, some people say it was 2,000 to 3,000, some people say it was 5,000. I've always heard a legion of an army or of soldiers is between 2 to 3. Okay, I'm not going to debate how many a legion is. All depends during that time. Once again, 2 to 3,000. So these demons took upon the name of what they saw in their surroundings. That's a legion of 2, 3. Okay, we're legions. So that's what they said. We're a legions, for we are many. So also he begged him earnestly that he would not send them out of the country. Now a large herd of swine was feeding near the mountains. So all the demons, listen to this, that's a plural, not singular. All the demons begged him, saying, "Send us to the swine that we may enter them." So for them to know that they can enter into the swine, they knew they can possess animals. If I believe the scripture says so, yes, I'm going to believe that animals can be possessed. But that's just me. I'm not trying to convince anybody, but this was the question that was asked for me today, and I'm answering it. So I like the fact that they recognize who was in authority there. And the demon said, "Send us." Now, we're going to find out how many demons this man had. Okay? Because many times when we think about a person being possessed, we just think it's just one stupid demon. It could be many, many. So all the demons begged him, saying, "Send us into the swine that we may enter them." And at once Jesus gave them permission. Then the unclean spirits went out and entered the swine. Now we find out how many there were. There were about 2,000, and the herd, there were about 2,000 swines. Think about that. At 2,000 pigs were possessed. 2,000 spirits left that man. Remember what we said what a Roman legion of soldiers were? Between 2,000 to 3,000. That's what a legion of soldiers was. So when Jesus asked them, "What's your name?" "Legion, for we are many." 2,000 swine, 2,000 left and possessed every single one of them. Now look what happens. And the herd ran violently down the steep place into the sea and drowned in the sea. Now these animals have a different behavior. Now we see them acting violently. These swine didn't even want to live. They committed suicide. That's what these pigs did. But those demons there knew that they can possess these animals, and that's why they asked. So once again, Alex, obviously you had heard that story. You were actually very familiar with that story. And it says that he had 2,000. Did you ever think about that? That 2,000 evil spirits possibly is what gave that man supernatural powers?
I remember seeing the name Legion, but I just didn't think about how many was a Legion.
Let's look it up. Look up a legion of Roman soldiers.
Okay.
How much is a legion of Roman soldiers? And we'll go from there. We should put during the time of Christ, but that's something different. But yes, I believe that animals can be possessed. And I believe animals can act differently. Let me know when you got that answer.
Okay.
I believe, yes, that for the gentleman that asked that question, hopefully that helps. If you don't believe the scriptures, then I don't know what else to tell you. This is the only time that I can, only book that I can actually refer to of these animals being possessed.
Okay. It says right here, the Roman legion was a highly disciplined, well-trained, and heavily armed body of infantry, which it says right here in the 1st century, it was comprised between 5,000 and 6,000 men.
There you go. Someone had said 5. Some people said 2 to 3. But we know for sure those 2,000 swines were all possessed because they all died.
It says right here that the exact number is not stated in the classical literature.
Okay. Thank you for that. Now, can you read that poll for us? And let us know how long has it been up there? And you could take down that picture as well. And let us know how long has it been up there and what are the votes.
Okay, it's been up for 18 minutes and we got 78 votes.
Okay.
Do you want me to read it off?
Oh, you know what? Let's wait a couple of more minutes. Okay. But now, let me ask you this, Alex. I know you, how many dogs or cats or pets have you had growing up?
Over my lifetime, probably like 1 cat and like 4 dogs, maybe.
Okay. You ever experienced anything supernatural with these animals at all?
Probably the only thing I remember them acting weird with I've had my dog do some weird shit, but I just feel like maybe she was half asleep though.
Yeah, you can't just say she was possessed or something.
Yeah,
I get it.
Yeah, it's like sometimes I'll walk in and she'll wake up and she'll just look at me and like not recognize me and just bark at me.
Yeah. Yeah. Many times in movies, when they want to use a wild animal, they usually use like either a dog or a wolf or something.
Yeah, and I have a theory behind that.
Go ahead. Share it with us.
Because those are pretty much the animals that can be trained, to do most of the,
The dirty work.
Yeah, pretty much. Because I don't know if there's very rare occasions where there's other animals that can be trained. There are some cats but like as far as movie animals, mostly people use dogs.
Yeah, and that's one thing that I want to share with you guys. If you guys have any experiences or know of somebody that's experienced something like this where maybe their animal attacked them, I'm going to share something with you that I've shared before, but I think it suits this show tonight. There was a movie, I believe, Alex, can you look up what year the movie Congo came out? The movie Congo, I believe it was a 90s movie.
Yeah, I remember that movie.
Okay. And it was about a man that... Was that?
1995.
1995, okay. It was about a man that created some type of AI gadget for his gorilla. And he put it on his arm, and the gorilla would move his arm a certain type of way, and a voice would come out. The gorilla's name was Amy, I believe. Yeah. And he would say, Amy's hungry. Amy, like hungry. That's what he would do. Well, there was a show years ago. It was like a talk show. I'm not sure if it was like Donahue or like Geraldo Rivera, but it was one of those shows where they interviewed a man that was coming up with this technology, and he thought it was going to be something great to finally be able to hear your dog speak. If your dog is hungry, he will tell you he's hungry. If your dog loves you, He will tell you he loves you. If your dog wants to cuddle, he would say it. Now, I don't know if I would want to hear that. Most people that are dog owners know their dogs. Most people that are dog owners know when their dog's feeling down, the dog might be feeling sick, the dog wants to be held, the dog is hungry. Alex, you know dogs. You pretty much know by their mannerisms, by the way they carry themselves, if something's going on, if they're happy, if they're sad.
Yeah.
Okay, so
Yeah,
you do.
dogs become like restless and like it's the change in behavior.
Right. And it's just not dogs. It could be any animal. So now, this guy said he actually had a pit bull and he was training a pit bull how to use this device, how to move his head a certain way to tell him that he was hungry, that he missed them, whatnot. Okay. And he said was so far advanced. And you know what? I've been trying to find it on YouTube. I just don't remember the the host's name so that I can play it for you. But he said that one day, I guess the dog like spilled either his water or his food, and he actually whipped the dog. He hit the dog, and the dog having that device where the way he moves his head, he speaks. The dog looked at him, moved his head, and told him, "I'm going to kill you." So he stopped with that AI program that he was coming up with animals to speak. So now, Alex, you having animals. I've never had animals. Only thing I had was piranhas.
Yeah.
My question to you is this: would it be something fun to have to be able to hear your dog's voice, or for your dog to talk to you?
The dog's annoying as it is, so no. No.
Okay, now, how would it freak you out if your dog tells you, "I'm hungry"? Okay, then you go get him to eat. "I'm sleepy." And then just one day he just tells you, "I want to kill you."
Yeah, it's all bad.
It's all bad.
That device is going in the trash.
Yeah, so I don't know.
I would guess that it's a malfunction.
Okay.
I would give it that at least.
Okay, so go ahead and read the poll right now, and then we're going to put that. Would you want to hear your animal speak?
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. 93 votes. The question is, can animals be possessed? 81% say yes, and 19% say no.
Okay. So the next question is this. Would you want to hear your animal, because it could be anything. It could be your cat. It could be anything. Your animal speak. So go ahead and fill in that vote. And what I'm going to do is eventually, like I said, we're going to go ahead and put the number up. And I want to hear your guys' feedback. Is it possible? Would you want to hear your cat talk? Would you want to hear, if you have a bird at home, talk? Some people say parrots talk. I've heard some of them talk. They only repeat certain words, but, I don't know if I would want to have a conversation with a Rottweiler,
What's it called? The parrots are pretty smart, bro. Like,
yeah.
I know people that I think they said that they got like a 6th grade. They're like like a 6-year-old child. Like that's how
I've never heard that, but a lot of people say they're very intelligent. Like they say the same thing about dolphins. Very, very intelligent animals. I just would be freaked out, but since this is freak until we can ask that question, would you want to hear animals talk? Now let's, in the scriptures, you guys get a chance, just Google talking donkey in the Bible. In the scriptures, a donkey spoke to a man to warn him. Where do you think they stole the idea for Shrek, the talking donkey? They steal everything from the scriptures, but yet many people want to mock that book because they think of religion. It has nothing to do with religion. Religion is man-made. But that's where they got the talking donkey from. So Google that. Talking donkey in the script. Have you ever heard that story?
No.
Yes. In the scriptures, God allowed that donkey to speak and to warn that man. Now, you could just imagine what that man might have felt when he heard that donkey speak to him. Alex, can you imagine maybe going through the alley, deciding to use the restroom, and the dog walks up to you and says, "What the hell you doing, man?"
It'll be kind of scary, bro.
It would. It would. It will freak me out. So,
But I would talk back to see if it would answer.
what would you say?
Did you just say something? That's what probably I'll
Yeah, and if he told you, and if you don't get out of here, I'm going to end up biting your ass.
Well, my next response would be like, I don't know, try to like befriend the dog.
But you see what I'm saying? It's like, wow, are you the only one that talks like this?
Yes, that's what I would start getting into a conversation. Like, I got treats. Like, man, just tell me more.
But I think that'll be interesting, huh? To be able to tell them, how long have you been talking? Can anybody else talk?
Yeah.
And how long have you been talking? Who taught you? Do you speak different languages?
Yeah, that'd be crazy.
I would like to know how smart they are. We know that dogs are smart. They're trained. Cats exactly the same way. But we don't know.
I think the difference between the dog and a cat, though, like I think cats, they said that they're self-aware, and dogs are not really self-aware. Like,
what about a wolf? Can you imagine running into a wolf and he talk to you?
Nah, a wolf is different, man, because those things they look crazy.
Yeah.
They have a whole different look. Because dogs have like you want to pet a dog, but when you see a wolf, those things are more, they have more of a look like they're aggressive and those.
Yeah, and I'm sure their language will be aggressive as well.
Yeah, right.
So, yeah, I actually thought that this was an interesting topic, and that's why I encourage when we get to that mark that people would actually call in and share if you wouldn't mind having a dog that spoke to you, or having a dog where you can have a conversation, or can animals be possessed? That's my number one question. And 81% said yes. So, and have you guys had ever any encounters, or maybe a story was told to you, or you heard something, or, I would like for you guys to call in and share what you guys believe. Before we open up the phone lines, Alex, anything else you want to share on behalf of that?
For the most part, though, I feel like dogs are very protective of people.
Yeah.
And, a lot of animals actually are protective of people. That's why I feel like there's more love for animals now than there was before, because I remember before in the 90s, and even before then, people would like beat their dogs and shit like that. And just like, people would beat their kids too, and then as times have changed, people have learned to just find different ways of teaching these animals. I think eventually we'll get to a point where we'll be able to understand what they're trying to tell us.
You know what? And that's, yeah. But that's going to be the freaky part, because my question is, again, would you want to hear your animal talk to you? Can you imagine you had a friend that came over and your dog tells you that guy was here last night trying to break in, and he says it right in front of him?
Or could you imagine that your dog tells something private about you while you're...
Yeah, or the dog lies. If the dog lies and he says, that guy right here, he tried to break in. I seen that guy with your girlfriend the other day. And he says it right in front of him. So I don't think we need dogs to be talking, or cats, but I'm going to leave that up to you. And once again, I'm not trying to make it something comical. It was a serious question that was asked. Can animals be possessed? In my opinion, yes. So let me ask you your personal opinion, not just based on tonight, Alex. Okay. Did you believe before this that animals can be possessed?
Yes.
Yes. I have to go back to the Garden of Eden. There was only Adam and Eve, only two humans at that time. Satan had to possess something, so he possessed a serpent, and that was an animal. So then we go into the New Testament, and we have another instance where these demonic entities possess 2,000 swine. So,
I was going to ask you, you ever been to like SeaWorld?
Yes.
Okay.
I like the zoos.
And you ever seen like what is it, the seal act?
The seal, the dolphins, yes.
Okay, but the seals, man, those things are actually pretty impressive, bro. And even the walrus, because they do things that
They do things, yeah, to entertain.
yes, to entertain. So is it just an entertainment, or do they actually get satisfaction from it?
Yeah,
or,
and the whales.
yeah.
Because it almost seems like they're so highly trained that they like they feed off of that energy that the crowd gives them when they clap and stuff.
Yeah. But honestly, as far as the whale stuff, though, man, I really don't believe that those whales should be in those small tanks.
Yeah,
They deserve the whole ocean.
I believe that too.
But anyways, yeah.
Let's go ahead and put up that number, Alex, and let's get some calls in. We're gonna go ahead and put the number up, and once again, the topic of today is: can animals be possessed? My other second question I would be asking you, if you had a pet, would you want to hear him talk? Would you want to have communication with him? Because we really have no idea if when that dog speaks or that cat speaks or whatever you have, if it's going to tell the truth. Are these animals liars?
The question is it possessed, or is it
Yes.
something scientific? Scientific.
Yeah, that can be explained. Okay, here we go. Caller, your name and where are you calling from?
Tony A. Caesar from Paris.
Caesar from Paris. How are you doing tonight, my friend?
We are doing good today. Beautiful moon outside. Everybody enjoy the moon. Enjoy your life. We're blessed today, my brother.
Absolutely. Talk to me, brother. The question
Now,
is,
yes.
can animals be possessed?
Now, that topic there brings up a bunch of other side topics, Tony, because, okay, say if they are being actually able to be possessed, who or what are possessing the animals?
Right.
Now, that opens up to, is it reincarnation? Is it pedophiles returning as sea cucumbers? You know what I mean?
Yes.
Good people returning as dogs? Why would a demon possess an animal? What would be their mission, their purpose to do that, other than a human?
Right.
That opens up a lot of little side notes, a lot of good table conversation, actually.
Yes.
And you know what? Before I forget, Tony, great interview. Everybody, whoever missed the Brando interview, you need to bring him on Freaky Tales. One of the best interviews so far, Tony A. in all these years. Awesome.
Thank you. And by the way, that was Rhodium After Dark. So you guys need to go check that out on my other platform.
Awesome, Ray. Off the charts. 5 stars.
Thank you.
Now, I believe, and I believe back to the animals. I believe animals, just like humans, they're jerks, assholes. Some are kind-hearted. Some are lost, just like us. And there's J-cats out there in the animal world. And some packs, they also have SNY yards. They do handle in a certain pecking order. Now, as far as them being possessed, why not say they have their own character? Or they're just crazy just like us. They have to live around us. So, I mean, really, shit, man. Cujo, as a matter of fact, Cujo gave me nightmares. But as far as being possessed, Son of Sam, I think he's just fucking crazy. That was just a crazy guy.
Right.
We can't really blame the animals. What we do know, some people do believe, is animals do have spirits, right?
Right.
They do have feelings. They know how to protect, care, and defend themselves, just like humans.
Right.
So I say we give animals a chance, and let's not give any type of negativity any more clout, any more power of what they really do have.
Now, my next question to you is this. My next question to you, because I need to get this in there. If you had a pet, I don't know if you have a dog, cat, whatever, or a lizard, but I just want to ask you this question. If it was possible, would you want that animal to have the capability to speak to you?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Yes, absolutely. And you know what? And what if they did, Tony? What if they did? Imagine the dogs and the cats, horses, any animal, whether it's warm-blooded or cold-blooded mammal or whatnot, they each have better senses and instincts than us humans. Imagine if they were actually able to communicate with us we'd be so far much advanced.
That's a good way of looking at it, because they do say that animals do
I'm
sense
thinking-
earthquakes before it actually even happens. Whether that's true or not, I don't know.
Okay. You know what, Tony? Look, without animals, who's going to be testing all the shit that human uses, from your fucking toothpaste to your medicine? If it don't work good in an animal, it's not good for you.
Okay.
That's how I look at it. I think animals are very, very special. Someone we don't even understand, because we're the lanes as far as mentally wise. We're not there yet. You talk about dolphins. I heard dolphins.
Yeah.
That's a scary situation.
Yeah.
And what about humans? We can't even survive in the water. Outside of walking, get us off our feet and we're done for.
Yeah.
So we're very much far behind not in the food chain, but I think in as far as sense-wise and maybe spiritually, but who knows with these animals? We would never know. So
Right.
do really cats really do have 9 lives? That's another. It goes in and it goes in. And what lives does he have? Are they the same lives? Are every life different?
Right. Right.
There's crazy stuff out there. It all depends on what you believe. But let's hope that whatever you do believe and entertain you guys yourself with, let's make sure there's always good and with everything.
Absolutely. Thank you for calling in, Caesar. Appreciate you.
And you know what? And I'm out.
All right, my brother. Thank you. You know what? He always brings up good topics, bro. So I appreciate that. Okay. Caller, your name and where are you calling from?
Hi, my name is Daniel from Buena Park.
Daniel, how are you doing tonight?
Hey, I'm doing great, Tony. Thanks for hearing from me, man. I listen to your show all the time, dude.
All good, man. Thank you. You know what? So the topic was, can animals be possessed? What do you believe?
So first and foremost, Tony, I just want to give out the shout out to my boy Ivan T from Santana, Buena Park, all my homies. Can dogs be possessed, and what would I do if? So my dog, he just turned 10 years old today, 2 days ago.
Okay.
If I could hear him, what would I want to hear him say?
The first question is, can animals be possessed? Doesn't necessarily have to be a dog, just in general.
Oh, can they be possessed?
Yeah. And the second question is, if they had the capability to speak, would you want to have a conversation with your animal? Or would you rather just keep it the way it is?
Sure. Got you. You know what, Tony? Like, there's a quote out there. It says, the more I meet people, the more I love my dog. You know, dogs are man's best friend.
Right.
That's the truth. That's from Mark Twain. He said that. And I feel the same way. Like, dogs, they're just so honest. They're so loyal, you know. They always have your back. They never judge you and everything like that. So, you know, I appreciate that. You know, I've always appreciated dogs and animals in general. They're good creatures on Earth. So, would I have no problem? Like, do I like it the way it is?
Yeah.
You know, they have their own conversation with us. You know, that you can see it in their eyes, and you can have that, like, almost like a subliminal conversation. You can feel what they feel. They can feel what you feel, even if you don't. You know, they know when you're in pain and when you're thinking something else. They come up to you and they comfort you. You know.
Yeah.
So there's a true language in that already. You know.
Okay. Me personally, I think I would be afraid, bro, to have a dog or a cat or whatever pet I may have.
It would be wild. You're right.
You know, to tell me, I never liked you. I never liked you.
Yeah, you're right.
You know, I don't like the food you give me, the way you treat me. You know, don't be surprised if I end up, biting your neck off when you're asleep. You know, can you just imagine having that type of conversation? Because, like the other caller just finished saying, and I don't like to talk like this, but he said, there's dogs that are cool, there's dogs that are nice, and there's dogs that are assholes. You know, and imagine getting one of those kind of dogs. Or again, not just dogs, just animals in general. So, a horse.
That is true, Tony.
So,
a horse, like Mr. Ed, you know?
Yes, exactly. But anyways, caller, man, I appreciate you taking the time and calling in, man.
Hey, I appreciate you, Tony. I love your show, bro. We listen to it all day at work. You know, we work on a commercial HVAC and compressors. And, man, we listen to your show. We just laugh and listen to it. And, you got some deep thought, Tony. I appreciate you, brother.
Thank you,
man.
Thank you, man. Appreciate you.
God bless Los Angeles. God bless Buena Park.
That's right. Take care now. Thank you for that call. Really appreciate that. Let's keep it going, guys. You looking up anything good over there, Alex? So far, these two good callers. You know what? Our last episodes, our calls have been great. Like, I truly, truly appreciate you guys taking the time and being a part of the show. And once again, the topic is, can animals be possessed? Okay. Here we go. Caller, your name and where are you calling from?
Okay, Tony. Tony A, love the show. This is Jesse from Texas, brother.
Jesse from Texas. What's good, my brother? How you doing?
I'm doing pretty good, man. And I tell you what, I do believe that animals can be possessed just because the Bible tells you, right?
Right.
And my uncle used to work at a Catholic church in Austin, Texas.
Okay.
And what happens here is he would say that when he would go to the church at 6 a.m. in the morning, that there would be witches in La Chusa. They would be there taking holy sacraments to church, man. And he would constantly see these witches every morning, different ones. And they were constantly stealing stuff from the church, using it in their rituals and stuff like that. Yeah, but it's a crazy story. But I got another story for you off subject.
Yes.
And there's been a time where I felt like something was just following me through the house, man. I couldn't be in a room by myself because I was scared to be alone. I can feel something in the room with me, watching me, some kind of evil presence.
Right.
And it would scare me, it would terrify me. And I would start to pray. And one time I started to pray, and I started hearing war drums, man. It was real faint. But as I started praying, the drums kept getting louder and louder and louder, where it scared me so bad I had to run out of the room. I ran out of the house. And I didn't go back in the house until my family came home and people came back so I started praying to Jesus to give me strength.
Yeah.
To fight whatever this demonic presence was. And one night I was sleeping in the bed, Tony, and this is another reason why I don't watch horror movies anymore. I was sleeping in the bed and I felt this demon. I felt something grab me by my ankles and start to pull me off the bed. And as that happened, man, it just, within a second, Tony, it happened so fast that whenever that demon grabbed me by my ankles and started to pull me off the bed, I was pulled off the bed about a foot, maybe 2 feet. I was paralyzed with fear. And then I heard a voice in my head say, a heavenly voice just told me, remember your faith. And when I heard that voice, whatever had a hold of my ankles let go. And normally when I got scared, I would jump up and just turn every light in the house on like a madman, just turn all the lights on as fast as I could.
Yes.
But this time I had peace and I wasn't scared. And so I walked through the house, the lights off, and opened the front door. And I said, devil, leave my house. You have no hold of this house. I banish you in the name of Jesus from this house. And I shut the door and I walked back to bed and I slept like a baby. And from that point on, I lost all fear from any kind of poltergeist, any supernatural thing. It doesn't scare me anymore. Mm-hmm. And I believe that the Holy Spirit gave me that he took that fear from me.
Yeah.
But I'm a Orthodox Christian now, so I believe in God. I believe in the Holy Trinity. And there is evil out there, Tony. We both know that. You have freaky tales. You investigate. You know the devil is real, man, and he can he possess animals? You can believe that because there's La Chusas, and these witches are shapeshifters, man.
Yeah. My
family's from Zacatecas, Mexico, and there's a lot of witches in Mexico, man. A lot of people practice the black arts in Mexico.
Yeah.
And there's shapeshifters out there, brother. So when you come across these demons, they could come at you as a wolf, a bird, an owl. You know, they're out there, brother.
Yeah, yeah. I appreciate you sharing that story, man. I really appreciate you taking the time and being a part of the show tonight, man.
I appreciate that, Tony. Love your show. Freaky Tales, top of my list. I had to watch it. I'm just glad to make it on the show, man. But definitely stay prayed up, Tony. It's an evil world out here. Everywhere I look, you know, I see the devil. Everywhere I look, I see the devil, man.
Absolutely.
I mean, just social media, they just bombard you with just soft porn. They just bombard you with it.
Yes.
And you got this. Oh man, we could talk for hours about what's going on, but we both know what's happening.
Absolutely.
So we have one King, and his name is Jesus Christ, and
absolutely,
we need to bend our knee to him. Absolutely. God bless you, Tony.
Stay blessed, my bro. Talk to you soon. Peace. Thank you for the calling in. We greatly appreciate that story. You know, and when he said, "I see the devil everywhere," you know, you see him in the Grammys. This guy, what's his name? Sam something. We'll get to it right now. Caller, your name and where are you calling from?
Yo, Tony, what up, man?
Yes, how you doing tonight?
It's Jose from Yuma, Arizona, man.
What's up, Jose? How are you doing tonight?
Good, man. So I have it's like a little story too. Can animals be possessed? Maybe. Yeah, right?
Okay.
But what I do know is that when somebody's doing a little bit of a witchcraft on someone, the first, if you have a dog or a cat, they're the ones that take that negative energy in first, you know? And they'll take that and they're the one that, you know, ends up dying. Like, let's say, oh, you know, my cat got real sick out of nowhere because it took that, let's say that brujeria that somebody was throwing at someone.
Yeah.
That pet's going to catch it for you. So it's kind of like a protector sometimes, you know?
I never heard that before.
So sometimes that pet sacrifices. Yeah, man. Sometimes that pet sacrifices itself. If somebody's throwing some bullshit at someone, that dog or that cat is going to take that energy and say, you know what, I sacrificed myself for my owner. Boom. And that's when somebody needs to go seek help and stuff like that, because it's pretty crazy, man.
Yeah.
That happened to my mom's chihuahuas. For some reason, whenever she gets chihuahuas, they die, dude.
Really?
And yeah, sure enough, on the last chihuahua she went, she was seeking some help. She found it, and they told her, yep, the first thing that takes that energy, if you have a pet, that pet takes that energy and sacrifices itself for the owner.
Wow. Have you ever heard of that before, Alex? No? Yeah, he's never heard about that either. But you know what? I'm glad you're shining light on that.
Yeah,
I didn't know that.
So it's either before or after. Like, let's say the person gets a limpia, then all that negative that person had in it, they transfer it to the pet, and the pet is the one that makes the sacrifice. You know.
Oh, okay. Well, thank you for sharing that information, man.
And also, one more quick thing, man.
Let's go. Absolutely.
And dogs talk, man. I wish dogs could talk like Scooby Doo, man. I'll be like talking. Hey, how did Scooby talk, bro? Did he get some of those ghosts in him, bro? Or some of those demons they were trying to catch?
Yeah, no, you're right.
You know, or was it Shaggy's weed?
Yeah.
Oh, man.
No, you're right.
All right, Tony. Well, I appreciate it, man. Thank you.
Thank you, my bro. Appreciate you.
Yeah, appreciate it.
Oh, thank you all the way from Colorado for taking the time and being a part of the show. Greatly appreciate you. Okay, the phone lines are open. I've never heard of that, Alex, of a dog pretty much being like takes upon, I guess, whatever somebody meant for bad for you, that the animal would take it for you. He'll be like someone like the sacrifice. Yeah. I've never heard of that, but that's very interesting. Okay, here we go. Caller, your name and where are you calling from?
Call my lost.
Okay, I don't know who that is. All right. Let me see. The phone lines are open, you guys, so let's get these calls in. Let's see. Okay, the phone lines are open. Once again, let's do this. Caller, your name and where are you calling from?
Whoa, I got through finally.
Yes, sir.
Hey, right on. A long-time listener, first-time caller.
All good. And what's your name and where are you calling from, if you don't mind me asking?
All good. Calling from Arizona. My name is Renato.
What's up, Renato? How you doing tonight, man?
Oh, man, doing good. Well, straight jumped into it.
Yes.
You know, I always feel like, you know, they always persuade animals like cats, dogs, spiritual protectors, because they see things you can't, you know. So they say.
Right.
You know, I'm pretty sure you've heard that, you know, like they say, you know, dogs and they sense things that you can't, you know, see as, you know, human beings.
Yeah. So my question, once again, is can animals be possessed? What are your thoughts on that?
You know, and it's crazy that I always think, you know, I do believe in and the fact that we all can be possessed by something negative. And as far as animals go, I don't see why not.
Okay.
They're also living beings as us, you know?
Yeah. Okay. Now, if you had the ability to allow your animal to talk, would you want to have a conversation with your pet?
Nah, not at all. You know, I believe the same thing. Like, as far as like, you know, your animals, you know, your dogs, you know, you already have that kind of relationship with them, you know? Like,
Yeah.
I don't need to hear them talk, you know? I hear enough jibber jabber from my little ones, my little kids all day talking, and, you know?
Man, can you imagine your dog telling you, I don't like your son?
Right, yeah.
You know?
I don't want to find out that my dog's an asshole, you know? Like
Exactly.
Just,
exactly. So,
yeah.
Yeah, I think that's an interesting question, but can you imagine that dog saying, or that cat or whatever may say something like, you know, wait till you see what I'm going to do to you. You know, like,
right, yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I wouldn't want to know, but
yeah, I would. Yeah, some things are best unknown, you know.
Exactly, but you know what? It's still an interesting question, so that's why I brought it up. And
no, it is definitely.
Yeah, because like again, everybody talks about human possession. Everybody talks about, you know, haunted buildings, haunted houses, haunted objects, but we never really talk about animals. You know, so
yeah, that's true.
But I appreciate you taking the time and calling, man.
Oh yeah. Before I go to, I just want to, if it's okay, if I just add another little thing.
Yeah, go for it.
I forget which episode it was. I know it was the one that you guys were talking about, the Doja Cat. It was a while ago.
Yes.
But there was a certain point there where I remember you were talking to one of the callers, and you had asked what's its name. And if you go back and listen to your show, I don't know if it's like you can hear like a whisper.
Wow.
Like a faint whisper. Like as soon as you finish saying what's its name, there was like a little whisper, like this weird.
Wow. Do you remember what the whisper was?
It like you can hear it. Like every time I go back, because I've been showing like my coworkers, like, hey, listen to this, and they'd be like, yeah, it sounds like something like whispered. Like as soon as, almost as like there was a response to your question.
Wow.
When you had said what's its name. I did on the comments on that certain episode, I did put a little what do you call it on the comment section?
The timestamp.
Yeah, I put the timestamp on it. Yeah, timestamp.
Okay, we're gonna go back and look at it after the show, because I'm kind of like, because this is not the first time that this has actually happened. I heard it on another episode where I actually heard it say something like I hate Tony, like something like that. It was very, very clear. So go ahead.
But it's like a whisper, huh?
Yes. Alex, are you gonna say something?
No, I mean, because back in those days when we did that episode, I had a few, remember I was trying to see if I could put some scary sounds right here.
Uh-huh.
It might have been me. I don't know.
Okay, well, we're going to go back and look at it, and then we'll decide whether it was or not.
Okay.
I appreciate you, caller.
Right, yeah, of course.
Okay, thank you, bro. You have a blessed night.
Have a good night.
You too. Bye-bye. Thank you for that call. So, see, you're trying to take the credit, you're trying to take the clout away from the demon. That's what you're doing, because you're all about the clout. Clout chasing, God, stealing clout from demons. Sounds like a movie or something. Like today's movies. It was me. It wasn't a demon.
No, I'm just saying it might have been me, because I was trying to put like scary sounds, but yeah.
Wow. I can't believe that. And here I was, started thinking it was a demon. But we're going to go back and listen to it. Then we'll see. But the one that I heard, I believe, I posted it up on my Instagram. I believe it was the first time that woman here, lady, was here. So we'll get the timestamp on that. And we'll listen to it. And maybe we'll play for you guys. And you guys tell me what you guys think. But I remember that was the day that my brother called, Tony, get that woman out of here. Tony, I'm like, calm down. It's just a show. Okay, calm down. So the lines are open, you guys. If you guys want to call in right now, if not, then we'll just continue this conversation and then we'll just end it with some shout outs. But I'd like to give everybody, there we go, right here. Call it your name and where are you calling from? Hello? Caller.
Tony.
Yes, caller.
Hey, this is Wolf from the 831. We're here in the Bay Area.
Hey, what's good, my brother from the Bay Area? How you doing tonight?
Doing good, Tony.
That's good. That's good. So, did you have a story, or did you want to answer the question? Can animals be possessed?
The question you were asking, yeah, about the animals. I'm not sure if they could be possessed, but I mean, I do believe, like, kind of like the whole thing with like Pet Cemetery.
Yeah.
You know, like there's certain ground where if they're buried, they might come back. Possibly, yeah. I'm pretty sure. I mean, it sounds like they're getting possessed by something, some kind of evil coming back.
Yeah.
You know, so
yeah.
I do believe, you know, if it's not possessed by a person, it's definitely some kind of evil.
Yeah. If do you have any pets?
I used to, yeah. I have some pets, but
okay,
you know, they passed away already. But
okay, if you could have allowed them to talk, if you had the capability to allow them to talk to you, would you have wanted to conversate with them?
I think I would. You know, that'd be a trip to just kind of see what an animal thinks and get their perspective. You know.
No, it's true.
Maybe they know some things you don't know.
Can you imagine you going through a bad breakup, and then you start talking to the dog about it, and he starts telling you, I saw the way you treated her.
Yeah. I'm like, hey, man, you're supposed to have my back.
No, I do. But I also saw that other woman that you were with the other night when you guys were in the car.
Oh, shit.
You see what I'm saying? Like, you just never know, because these guys are everywhere, you know? So I heard you on the phone the other day. Who were you talking to? And now you're talking about that she left you. I know why.
That dog must not want to eat.
Damn.
Yeah, that dog must not want to eat with that cat. Now you're going to be like, okay, let me take that capability away now. So, yeah, I wouldn't. Because, you know, you start to think, are animals atheists, or do they believe in God? You know, like, it's just weird.
Damn.
Like, that would be weird. But
I'm going to have to take them for a long ride. Get them off the ride.
Or imagine him telling you, because they say that animals sense a lot of things. They say that animals are the first ones that sense earthquakes. Can you imagine him telling you, hey, get in the house. It's about to be an earthquake in a couple of seconds.
Oh, man.
Yeah, it's weird.
That'd be some good info.
Yeah, it would. It would, absolutely.
Yeah. Animals are crazy.
Yes, yeah, I agree.
What about you, Tony? If you were to come back in another life as an animal, what kind of animal would you be, and why?
Okay, I'm going to go along with the question, even though I don't believe in reincarnation. But I probably come back as a bird. I don't know what kind of bird, but I come back as a bird just so I can lay a nice hot one on people. I'm being serious when I say that. That's it. Nice hot one. You know, all las muchachas que se creen mucho and all the guys with the nice suits. So.
That's right.
What about yourself?
All right, Tony. Well, I don't know. I'd probably come back as a wolf.
Okay.
You know, something that's, you know, fast and something that, you know, more dominant in its area. Right. So I don't got to worry about something coming to eat me, if, you know.
Right. All good, my brother. Thank you for taking the time, bro.
All right, Tony. All right, hey, you guys have a good one.
Yes, appreciate you.
All right.
All right. Again, Alex, is interesting because we don't know if these guys will lie, these animals.
Yeah, well, you know.
Hold on, I got a call right here. Caller, your name and where are you calling from?
Hey, Tony, this is Isaiah from the city of Vernon.
Isaiah from the city of Vernon. How you doing tonight?
I'm good, brother. How are you, man?
I'm doing good, man. You know what? I appreciate this topic. It's a different topic, and I'm glad you guys are chiming in and, being a part of the show tonight.
It's a very good topic, brother. It's a very good topic. That's a very good question, too. I mean, if you're asking whether I would like to know if my dog is thinking or talks to me, I would really, really, I would really want that, because one of my dogs passed away a couple years ago, and it had a beautiful life with that dude, man. And
yeah,
I would just would enjoy to hear his last words, man. Dogs are a beautiful thing. Not just dogs, but just animals in general.
Yeah.
I think they very important role in this earth, man.
I mean, my whole thing is just that I would be afraid, like, if they are too truthful, or if they would lie. Can you imagine your dog is pretty much on his deathbed, and you gave him the capability of talking as he is dying, and then you say, talk to me, and he says, your girlfriend did this to me.
Yeah, that would be that would be a trip, no? I mean,
yeah,
that's
she poisoned
true.
my food.
But you know what they say, though, all dogs go to heaven. So that means dogs don't lie.
Yeah.
Right.
Now,
I mean, I don't know if that's true or not, but I mean, animals, I hope they go to heaven, because I mean, I don't know if they sin. You know what I mean? I don't know. You know what I mean?
Well, you know what?
They're animals.
I do read in the book of Revelation that animals are mentioned in heaven. Some of them are actually mentioned. Horses are mentioned, and in heaven. So animals are mentioned. So, if they are there then maybe they are. I don't have none, so
maybe
I don't think
maybe they speak truth. Yeah, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, but can you imagine you're arguing with your girlfriend? It's just a hypothetical scenario, and then you say, "Babe, I'm sorry," and then he runs to your girl later on and says he was lying.
Yeah, that would be a trip, man. Yeah, for sure, man.
Yeah, so.
Yeah, man. I mean, again, honestly, personally, I would like to talk to animals, because then, it just would be something new. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that would be at least good for me.
Yeah.
New discovery. Yeah. But enjoying your show, man, and thanks for providing the Freaky Tales Thursday now, huh?
Yes,
no more Friday.
Yeah, sometimes it's going to be on a Thursday, sometimes Friday, sometimes Saturday. I'm trying to squeeze them in twice a week, man. So far, so good.
Bad, dude.
So far, so good. The thing is just that I depend on a lot of you guys bringing up topics, when you guys message me on Freaky Tales Podcast on Instagram. I truly appreciate it. This was a topic that somebody actually DM'd me. So I made a whole show about it.
Well, fortunately, I don't have Instagram, none of that social media BS, but
good.
I love the topic, man.
Thank you, my brother.
Love the topic.
Listen, you have a blessed night, man. We'll talk soon.
All right. You too, brother. You have a good night, man.
Okay, bye-bye. Okay, Alex, we got a couple of more minutes. Before we get another phone call, what were you saying now?
I've always heard that crows had something to do with like bad omens and stuff like
crows?
That. Yeah, crows.
Yeah. Right here at Banning Park, there's some big crows.
Because in Native American
culture,
Native Americans consider crows messengers between the living and the dead.
Do you believe that?
To a certain point, you know what? I've been told that crows are you don't fuck with them. You leave them alone because they fuck with you. And
okay, we got a call. Hold on 1 second. Caller, your name and where are you calling from?
This is Daddy calling from Santa Cruz.
How you doing tonight?
I'm doing all right. I got a little story. It reminded me of something. When I used to date this girl, I remember I got hella lit. And I got lit, and I started licking her tits. And she, instead of her getting horny, she just started laughing. And I looked at her, We were inside a car. I looked at her and I'm like, hey, what are you laughing at? And she was like, look at over there, look at that cat. And there was a cat just moving his head. And I'm like, what the hell? And then I'm like, okay. And I kept licking her tit. And she started laughing. So he's still there, look at. He's enjoying the show. And I was like, what the fuck? And I'm okay. And I'm like, okay, cat, go away. And the cat just pulled out his hand and just went, ah, ah. And he just started swinging. Like he was jealous.
Mm-hmm.
And she goes, that's my cat. And I'm, oh, shit. And I think he was a little bit jealous.
Really?
You know what I mean?
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay, now can you imagine if he could talk, what do you think he would have told you?
Hey, that's my chichis. The fuck you doing licking her chichis?
There you
They're
go.
my girl. Yeah.
There you go. Yeah, he probably...
Huh?
No, I've heard animals do get jealous.
Yeah, I think it was a little bit jealous and a little bit possessed, and he got jealous. You know what I mean? But me, I was lit, and I thought I was seeing things. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Well, now I'm seeing things. I'm like, oh shit, what the hell? Then after I approached him, I'm like, all right, bro, the show's over for you. Get out. And he just went like, ah, ah. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah. All good, man.
And I want to say another thing about dogs, bro.
Yeah.
I don't like dogs. I don't own dogs. But there's a spot where I go meditate at night.
Okay.
I meditate for like 2 hours. And I just go to the spot that I got. And before my neighbors moved in, my new neighbors, I would go over there, turn on my cell phone, sometimes listen to the freaky tales, and there would be no barking, no noise. I would creep out there really quiet. But now that they got dogs, one of them's got chihuahuas, the other one's got I believe a pit bull. They sense when I go out there and turn on the cell phone really low. And I hate that shit. That's why I hate dogs.
Okay. Wow.
Yeah. I hate dogs and I hate chihuahuas, especially chihuahuas. When you try to listen to something at night, peacefully and quietly,
right,
and they just go off, bro. I hate that shit. That shit's annoying.
Yeah. I feel you.
And have you ever heard peacocks? The way they make their noise.
Yes.
Because my neighbor's got a peacock too, and it seems that every time I'm trying to do something naughty with my girl, the peacock will go like, ah!
Right.
Out of nowhere.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well.
So I just wanted to. I wanted to share that about animals.
How does he do that again? The peacock?
He goes, ah!
Oh, okay. That's what I thought I heard. That'll work.
Yeah, it sounds like somebody screaming.
Yes.
Like they could feel that I'm gonna have sex or something with my girl. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I got you.
And that shit is creepy, but that shit is annoying right there.
Right.
That's why I don't like animals. I don't like neighbors that have animals because they do sense a lot of things.
Right. All right, caller. Thank you.
I just wanted to share that.
Yes, appreciate that.
Thank you guys too. I'm enjoying the show, and I'm outside.
Okay.
And right now I gotta start barking.
All right. Thank you.
All right.
Peace.
But that's what they sound like.
That's what they sound. That's what they sound like. I mean, we know. I live right next to some peacocks.
I know we hear them sometimes. They're in their trees.
Yeah, I usually tell people they're pterodactyls.
I know they do sound like something from Jurassic Park, bro.
Yeah, people get scared. They're like, "What the hell is that? Pterodactyls?" What? Yeah. So, but yeah, we're gonna take at least maybe 1 or 2 more phone calls, all depending on how long we spend on the phone. I try to keep my phone calls under 5 minutes. So once again, the phone lines are open. If not, we're just going to go ahead and give the poll. Is something you were going to finish sharing?
Yeah, I was still
yes.
on the crows. Also, there's other people that believe that crows are said to carry. It says crow spirits are said to carry the souls of the deceased and the lost and discarded to the afterlife.
Okay, here we go. Caller, call back. But thank you for that info. So, caller, call back. I saw you on there. So, here's another call. Caller, your name and where are you calling from?
Hey, what's up, Tony? Hey, this is Chino, calling from Trail Valley.
Hey, what's
I
up,
want to
brother?
let you know, long-time listener, first-time caller.
Thank you.
Got all my coworkers listening to your show on the graveyard shift.
Thank you.
We look forward. Yeah, no worries, man. We look forward to the Freaky Tales every Friday whenever they're out there.
Yes.
Got all my coworkers working at night. Looking forward to Freaky Tales, man.
Thank you, man. Much love and respect to all you guys.
Yeah, thanks, man. So I got a little story.
Yes.
Regarding animals and all that. So my grandma, she's originally from. She passed away, but she's originally from Guadalajara.
Okay.
And her grandmother used to tell me that. Her grandmother used to tell her that that witches out there in Mexico would I guess possess owls. I don't know if you've ever heard anything like that or not.
No, I haven't.
And well, one time, so my grandma back in the day, I remember she would tell us that a story that there was this lady in her town out there in Guadalajara, and that one time, I guess they always assumed this lady was a witch, and that one day, I guess this lady sent an owl out like to go attack some people, and they were hitting that owl with rocks out there in Mexico, and that the next day, the lady, who everybody assumed was like a witch, they say that she was all bruised up. She woke up all bruised up. Wow. And back in the day, we used to think it was like kind of funny, right? We didn't think much of it.
Right.
But you see, my grandma, she used to do like tarot cards, like cartas and stuff like that. You know?
Yeah, yeah.
So people would come over to the house and stuff like that, and we always thought, there's a little side note. We used to think like, okay, well, she was bringing bad vibes to the house or whatever. And one time when we were at the house, I remember this. I'm a 40-year-old, but at the time I was like 6 or 7. There was an owl that came to our house, and it was just kept up attacking our living room window, and it just kept on banging itself on the window.
Yeah.
And we kind of all got freaked out, man. So going back to what the topic of freaky tales, do we think animals can be possessed? I don't know, man. It was just kind of freaky the way that kind of happened.
Yeah.
And to this day, I kind of think it may be kind of might be tied in together with like the stuff that my grandma used to do, like the brujeria and all that stuff.
Yes.
But well, I wouldn't call it brujeria, but I guess maybe I don't know what to call it. But she would do like the cards, and I think like people would come over to the house with their energies and all that stuff.
Oh, the tarot card reading.
I don't know. I just kind of like doing like the tarot cards. Like people would come over and they'd ask for like like love advice and like kind of say like the future and all that stuff. I don't know if you ever heard of that.
Yes, I heard of that. I've had some people here. I'm trying to remember what episode that they gave you tarot card advice, palm reading, and a bunch of other stuff. Yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, like grandkids and everybody else stayed away from that. My grandma used to do it, but we thought that maybe like that owl came attacking the house because of what I mean, her doing the cards and people coming with negative energies and all that stuff. And I remember there was an episode where you talked about like a mirror and talking about I forgot you're talking about mirrors or something, and it just reminded me that back in our house, like we used to have like a mirror right on the entrance of our house, because supposedly it was like if whoever's coming in with bad vibes, to get their cards read or whatever, those vibes would or those energies would bounce off the mirror and reflect off and get out of the house,
Right.
But anyway, that's a quick little story, man. Look forward to calling a little bit more because I got a bunch of them.
Absolutely,
just want to say thanks for your time and appreciate your show, bro.
Well, you know what? I appreciate you and I appreciate all your friends working the night shift. Let me give them a shout out. Much love and respect. Thank you once again for being a part of the show. And tonight you are our last caller. So I want to thank you for calling in, man. Appreciate you.
Have a good night.
You too.
Yeah.
Okay, Alex, we're good right there. Man, these are actually the calls are getting way better now, man. I really, really enjoy it. You know who we haven't heard from lately? Remember Bosley from the Cosmos?
Yeah.
We haven't heard from her in a minute. So Bosley from the Cosmos, if you're watching, we would like for you to chime in. But other than that, Alex, you have a poll. It's been up there for how long and how many votes? And
it's been 50 minutes. We got 148 votes.
Okay, good.
The question is, would you want to hear your animal talk?
Okay.
52% said hell yeah. 42% said hell no. And 4% said I don't like animals.
Okay, so 52 said yes.
We know who voted that.
That was probably me.
You too.
So, okay. Other than that, do you have anything else? Anybody dropped it?
You know, I wanted to. No, there was nobody dropped anything. But you know, I was gonna say that I've heard that owls are bad omens as well, because also crows are considered bad omens too. But I feel like it's because they're birds of prey, or scavenger. You know, because these are the type of animals that when something dies or something, they circle around the whatever's dying.
Oh.
And they wait for it to die, and then they go and eat it. You know, but what do you call it? The crows, they hold like they roll in groups, and if you mess with one, the whole group will mess with you. And they even hold funerals for one that dies.
For a crow?
For a crow, yeah, crows. They hold their own funerals and stuff like that, you know? So they all have like their own little mind of their own.
Wow. Imagine having a conversation with one of them.
Yeah, that'd be a trip, because they're considered like more spiritual kind of things, you know?
Wow.
So are owls.
I know some of those owls be freaking me out the way they look, man.
Yeah, they're just considered bad luck. And I remember my grandma always telling me that if you see an owl at night, that it's bad luck.
Have you ever seen that one guy? I forgot what he called it. Maybe you can look it up. But it's a gigantic owl. It's about that damn owl looks like he's about 4 feet tall.
Bro, I've seen an owl that big before in Palos Verdes one night.
That big?
2 a.m., bro. This thing was...
Were you lit?
Bro, yeah, you know what? I was a little lit, but I know I saw this. It wasn't a crow. It was an owl, actually.
Okay.
So, I don't know if we said owl or crow. Sorry.
Owl.
But this owl was really tall, really big, and almost landed on my windshield. So I'm just letting you guys know. Maybe somebody that lives around San Pedro or Palos Verdes.
I've seen it.
Could
testify to it.
Yeah, because it's a big, gigantic bird. And then I heard the babies look like aliens too.
Wow.
So yeah.
Never heard that. Okay. I want to thank everybody on the live chat. I want to thank all my callers. I want to thank all my subscribers. I want to thank all the listeners. I want to thank just everybody, because you know what? When everybody calls in and tells me that I'm doing a great job, thank you for the great content. You know what? It's very, very humbling. And keep in mind, it is people like you guys that keep this show going, that keep me going, that keep my team going. So I just want to thank you guys, honestly, for supporting the podcast. So once again, if you guys want to follow me, it's on the screen. It's Freaky Tales Podcast. Freaky Tales Podcast on Instagram, if you guys have an Instagram. I don't have a Facebook for it. I don't have a Twitter for it. I will be starting a TikTok. I have started a TikTok for it, but it got deleted. So I don't even know what happened. I'm not a TikToker anyways. But on Instagram, that way you guys can see the flyers when we're going to go live, because I've been going live lately. I've been going live on my Instagram page once a week to give my movie reviews. Yesterday or the day before, I went live on my Instagram, and I talked about a movie called Creep Show and a movie called Phantasm. So I'm doing 2 movies per week. I don't know what day I'm going to go live. I don't announce it. I just go. So if you follow me on there, you will be able to see the live. And I just give my reviews. I recommend movies. Halloween is coming up. You know, you want to snuggle up next to your man, next to your woman, whatever. You know what? These are some of the movies that I recommend that are cool movies. Many of them are from the 80s. Many of them are from the 90s. But I think you guys will truly, truly enjoy them. So follow me once again on Freaky Tales Podcast on Instagram. And other than that, I'm going to give my shout-outs. Alex Cervantes, Cervantes Enterprise, the Hip Hop Jedi, Marvelous Inc., my co-host, he will be back. Forever Genesis, our moderator, thank you very, very much. And once again, you fans, our members, thank you very much. Nothing but love and respect. We're going to try to go live possibly Saturday again. So stay tuned. And once again, don't forget to like, comment, and share. Smash that like button. Thank you. We're out of here.